Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a look at South Africa, specifically how they're using AI-powered precision agriculture.
Yeah, it's a really interesting space right now. It definitely mirrors what's happening globally.
How so?
Well, there's this big push globally towards what some people are calling radical abundance.
Radical
Yeah,
abundance.
the idea is basically using smart tech to get past resource limits,
Mm,
water, land, to produce more food. And precision agriculture is right at the heart of it.
okay,
It's all about the right input, right place, right time, right amount, using data to make it happen.
right, data-driven farming. So, this radical abundance idea through precision, can you paint a picture? What does this look like elsewhere?
Sure. I mean, different places focus on different things based on their own challenges.
Makes sense.
Israel, for example, they've always had water stress, right? So they were pioneers in drip irrigation. And now they use really sophisticated analytics to manage every single drop.
Yeah.
Australia, super dry interior, relies heavily on sensors for soil moisture. The EU, they're very focused on environmental rules. So they use AI to optimize fertilizers and pesticides.
Okay.
And then you've got North and South America, big-scale farming, using GPS on machinery, detailed yield maps, all for efficiency. So adoption really reflects local needs.
Which makes South Africa such a compelling case, doesn't it? What's unique there?
Exactly. South Africa's agriculture is, well, incredibly diverse. You have these huge commercial farms side by side with lots of smaller family-run ones.
A dual structure, almost.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they face serious environmental hurdles, severe water scarcity in some areas,
Yeah.
climate change impacts hitting hard.
Right.
So for them, adopting precision farming isn't just, following a trend, it's strategic.
Yeah.
It's driven by their specific landscape and those environmental pressures.
So our mission today is to dig into how they're actually doing that, how they're applying this tech strategically.
That's the plan, to really understand how South Africa is leveraging these tools for its unique situation.
Okay, let's get down to specifics then. Where in South Africa are we seeing the most action?
Well, there are definitely strong regional patterns emerging.
Like where?
Take the Western Cape, famous for high-value stuff, wine grapes, deciduous fruits.
Right, the winelands.
Exactly. There you see a big uptake in satellite-based soil moisture monitoring combined with integrated weather data.
So a sort of bird's eye view of water needs?
Pretty much. It tells farmers precisely how much water their vines or orchards need, which is absolutely critical for saving water in drier zones like Worcester and Ceres.
Makes perfect sense given the water issues there. What about the big crop regions?
The Free State, often called the country's breadbasket. Huge grain production around Bloemfontein.
Okay.
There, the challenge is managing vast areas. So they're using satellite imagery for broadacre crop health assessment.
Checking the health of massive fields from space.
Essentially, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And more, AI advisory systems are crunching data to help farmers decide on optimal planting densities, fertilization schedules, even harvest timing.
So maximizing output on a really large scale. And what about areas with even more severe water shortages?
That brings us to the Northern Cape. Think places like Uppington, Kakamas. Water is incredibly scarce there.
Okay.
So the adoption of IoT sensors is really taking off.
IoT sensors, little devices in the ground.
Exactly. They give real-time, super localized soil moisture data. This precision is vital for irrigating crops like table grapes and dates.
So no wasted water.
Precisely. It ensures they get exactly the right amount, minimizing waste. It's like, tailor-made hydration for each plant.
Incredible level of control. Is this just for the big commercial players, though?
Not entirely. I mean, the scale might differ, but you see farmers of varying sizes across the country exploring and implementing technologies that fit their needs.
Okay.
Even maize farmers in the maize triangle, smaller operations, sometimes reporting yield increases and better profit margins using some of these techniques. It's spreading.
So happening across the board, even if specialized by region. Okay, we know where. Now, the tools. What are the key technologies enabling all this precision?
It's really a suite of interconnected technologies. The foundation is GPS and GIS.
Right, GPS for location.
Exactly. Pinpointing locations in the field.
Yeah.
And GIS, Geographic Information Systems, lets you layer different data onto a map. Soil types, past yields, maybe pest hotspots.
Okay, building a digital picture of the field.
Precisely. And that detailed map is crucial for the next piece. Variable rate technology, or VRT?
VRT sounds technical. What does it do on the farm?
Okay, imagine a tractor pulling a seeder or sprayer that's, well, smart. VRT uses the data from those GIS maps to automatically adjust how much seed, fertilizer, or pesticide is applied as it moves.
So different amounts in different parts of the same field.
Exactly. If one zone needs more nitrogen based on the soil map, it gets it. Another zone might get less. It gets rid of that old one-size-fits-all approach, much less waste, much more effective.
That sounds incredibly efficient for inputs. And we're getting data from above too, right? Satellites, drones.
Absolutely. Remote sensing is huge. Satellites and drones give you that broad, often real-time view. These eyes in the sky can spot crop health variations, water stress across large areas.
Even pests or diseases early?
Potentially, yes, or nutrient deficiencies. Drones are getting really versatile to targeted spraying, even precise planting, and capturing super high-resolution images for deep analysis.
Like a constant health check from the air.
You got it. And you combine that aerial view with the ground-level data from those IoT sensors we mentioned.
The soil moisture probes, weather
Right,
stations.
nutrient sensors too sometimes. They're constantly feeding back real-time data, allowing farmers to make immediate tweaks to irrigation or fertilization. It's
Mm.
very dynamic.
Okay, but that sounds like a lot of data. How do farmers actually make sense of it all, turn it into decisions?
Yeah, that's the challenge, and that's where data analytics and AI really come into play. There's sophisticated farm management software, AI advisory platforms. They pull in all these data streams, GPS, GIS, remote sensing, IoT.
Then crunch the numbers.
Exactly. They analyze it and provide clear, often personalized recommendations. They can help predict problems, like a potential disease outbreak, and optimize basically every stage, from planting right through to harvest.
Hmm.
It turns raw data into usable knowledge.
So it's not just collecting data, it's the intelligence to interpret it.
Precisely.
Right.
And don't forget yield monitoring and mapping. Modern harvesters have sensors that collect yield data as they move through the field.
So you know which parts of the field produced more.
Yep. It generates these detailed yield maps, visual guides showing high and low productivity zones, incredibly useful for planning next season's inputs.
I see.
Then there's precision irrigation itself, using all this data to water just right. And finally, detailed soil mapping and lab sampling. Understanding the soil's chemistry and structure lets farmers tailor lime or fertilizer applications for long-term soil health.
It really is an integrated system. Now, this isn't just happening spontaneously on farms, is it? Research institutions must be
Oh,
involved.
absolutely fundamental.
Uh,
The University of Pretoria, for instance, their Center for Environmental Studies, is doing fascinating work,
like what?
using satellite imagery and algorithms to map weeds in maize fields.
So farmers know exactly where to spray herbicide.
Exactly. Targeted application means less chemical use overall.
Well,
Better for the environment, cheaper for the farmer. It's also big on remote sensing for water use efficiency and nutrient management.
very practical research. Who else is involved?
Stellenbosch University's agronomy department is looking hard at the practical barriers. Why don't farmers adopt these things sometimes? And they're quantifying the actual economic and environmental benefits of VRT and GPS guidance, particularly in maize.
Trying to build the business case.
Right. There was even a specific master's thesis by someone named Blaker, looking at farm-level barriers to adopting VRT and similar tech in the maize sector. And the University of KwaZulu-Natal is specifically focused on making precision ag work for smallholder farmers, finding ways to adapt it sustainably.
So ensuring it's not just for the big guys. That's important.
Very. Then Northwest University's business school is looking at the socioeconomic side. How does this impact profitability yields, particularly for maize farmers in that maize triangle area?
Okay.
University of Johannesburg takes a broader view, studying overall adoption patterns across different agricultural sectors, what drives it, what holds it back.
A wide range of academic focus. What about government research bodies or independent groups?
Definitely. The CSIR Council for Scientific and Industrial Research is developing practical tools. They have something called the Precision Agriculture Information System, PAIS.
What does that do?
It integrates satellite imagery and data analytics
Mm-hmm.
to help farmers manage crops precisely. Very hands-on. Then you have BFA, the Bureau for Food and Agricultural Policy. They're an independent think tank doing research-based analysis, using farm data, spatial analysis to provide strategic insights important for policymaking.
Right, informing government decisions.
And the Agricultural Research Council, the ARC, through divisions like soil, climate and water, and agricultural engineering, they do a lot of the foundational and applied research, soil mapping, climate monitoring, optimizing machinery that underpins everything.
It sounds like a really collaborative ecosystem driving this forward. So with all this tech and research, what are the main pressures pushing South African farmers towards precision ag?
There are several big ones. Water scarcity is huge, obviously, especially in the Western and Northern Cape. Precision irrigation's water savings are incredibly attractive there.
Makes sense.
Rising input costs are another major factor. Fertilizer, fuel, seeds, pesticides, they're all getting more expensive. Precision ag helps use them much more efficiently.
Squeezing more out of every rand spent on inputs.
Exactly. Then there's climate volatility. More droughts, more extreme weather. The real-time data and monitoring from precision ag helps farmers react faster, build resilience.
Managing risk better.
Right. And labor shortages are an issue in some areas, so advanced machinery helps reduce reliance on manual work.
Okay, those are all strong operational and economic reasons. What about bigger picture factors?
Yeah, there's definitely a growing focus, nationally and globally, on environmental sustainability. Precision farming helps minimize chemical overuse, reduces nutrient runoff, improves soil health. That
A
resonates.
greener way to farm.
And ultimately, it comes down to productivity and profitability for the farmer, getting higher yields, better quality crops, while controlling those input costs.
The bottom line.
Plus, you have government support, research funding, digital platforms, encouraging policies, and the need to stay competitive internationally, meet global standards. And of course, the fundamental goal of ensuring food security sustainably.
So a mix of immediate farm-level needs and long-term national goals. Now, we also saw mention of the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Sustainable Development. How do they fit into this picture?
Ah, yes. They seem strategically positioned to really push the use of AI for positive agricultural outcomes, especially using precision farming for, well, that idea of abundance.
Okay.
Their focus seems to be heavily on policy and advocacy, engaging with government, with stakeholders to make sure AI adoption is responsible, ethical, and equitable.
Equitable meaning for everyone,
Right.
smallholders too.
Exactly. They seem very focused on making sure precision farming benefits aren't just captured by the largest operations. They work with universities, both in SA and neighboring countries, Namibia, Botswana, Tanzania, on research and demonstration projects.
To show what's possible.
And to build the case for specific data governance frameworks, rules for how agricultural data is handled, which is a complex area.
I can imagine.
They're also tackling the ethical questions around AI in farming and pushing for better access to the basics, like reliable internet connectivity, which you absolutely need for this stuff.
Right, the infrastructure has to be there.
A big part of their work is advocating for policies that directly support deploying AI-powered precision ag tools, things like AI analytics for VRT, drone monitoring, AI-optimized irrigation.
So, actively shaping policy for specific AI applications in farming.
Seems so. And they emphasize the need for skills development training farmers and agricultural professionals to actually use these new technologies effectively.
You can't just drop tech on people.
No. And they're thinking about the socioeconomic side effects too, advocating for policies that ensure a fair transition for everyone involved as the sector changes. The goal is really AI, especially through precision farming, as a catalyst for a better agricultural future in South Africa and the region.
A very comprehensive, forward-looking approach. Finally, the sources mentioned a timeline. What's the momentum like right now?
It seems the period from, say, 2023 running into 2025 is really pivotal.
How so?
We're seeing a marked acceleration, much more awareness, better understanding, and crucially, more actual implementation of these smart farming techniques on the ground. It really feels like a shift towards a more tech-heavy, data-informed future for South African agriculture is underway right now.
Okay, so summing up, South Africa is clearly and quite strategically leaning into AI-powered precision agriculture. They're tackling major challenges, water, costs, aiming for more sustainable abundance.
That's the core message, yeah.
Yeah.
And understanding this shift really gives you valuable insight into where food production and resource management are heading, not just there, but globally too.
Definitely. And thinking about how fast this is moving, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's the next unexpected breakthrough going to be? What could further revolutionize farming there or anywhere? And what are the deeper ethical questions as tech gets so integrated into our food?
Absolutely. Lots to think about. It's a space changing incredibly quickly.
Indeed. We encourage you, the listener, to explore the sources linked to this deep dive for more detail on all these aspects. Thanks for joining us.